It's common knowledge that you are the 5 people closest to you. If you want to change your life, you need a friend like Himmel, the fake hero. If you don't know,
Himmel the Hero is one of those anime characters who doesn't dominate the screen with overwhelming power or dramatic speeches, yet somehow stays with you long after the story moves on. In Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, Himmel's journey is already over when the series begins, and that alone tells you how different he is from most protagonists. His story isn't about winning battles, it's about the quiet impact a single person can leave behind. What makes Himmel special isn't that he was the strongest hero, it's that he was the most human. Let's get into the video.
what I meant by fake hero, I'll explain it later in the video, but first I have to tell you that he's the person you must look for if you want to live a better life, because he is special. Simply said, he's my favorite character of all time. And I had a friend like him, so this is the reason why I'm making this video. And I have to reflect on the thumbnail. You know those fairy tales where you have to take a sword out of a stone? He couldn't do it, but still defeated a demon king. Because actually Himmel was a hero that wasn't meant to fulfill the prophecy to save the world. But if I had to describe him, he is an ambitious, brave man with a great talent at socializing and getting along with others. Fun fact! Himmel is derived from the German language and its meaning is sky or heaven. Himmel embodied the words sky and heaven, and as his character design matched that of a clear sky. And because of that, in the anime Sousou no Frieren, he is the person who has a clear goal, a clear direction. Even if it
From the very beginning, Himmel is portrayed as someone who genuinely enjoys people. He laughs easily, listens intently, and treats others with warmth without expecting anything in return. In a genre filled with stoic warriors and emotionally closed-off heroes, Himmel stands out because he's open. He isn't afraid to care, and he isn't embarrassed to show kindness. That trait alone makes him powerful.
doesn't go his way, he's gonna make sure that it works, somehow. And also, the most important of all, he lives up to his words. I made this video in the first place because I had a friend that reminded me really much of him, and it's so rare nowadays to see people like that, because my friend asked me or took me anywhere he went to. He made friends with anyone, literally anybody, and created this easy to be in atmosphere. And as teens, you know, I didn't have money, we didn't have money, but we always knew how to make fun out of nothing. And the same thing is shown in the flashbacks of Frieren. Every time he said he's gonna do something, he did it. And the thing that I respect most about these types of people is that even if they're scared, he's gonna be able to relate to everyone. He's gonna be the one to say how things are. If he was happy, he made it clear it's gonna be a good day. I admired him for that. But a few wrong turns led him to a path that I just didn't want to acknowledge, and I decided to end the relationship. Hyped Shigi has to take over. I watched a recent episode and I love Himmel so much. He said that maybe he's helping people just because of himself. He wants to be remembered by the good that he does. And then Frieren asked him,
Himmel had an incredible ability to connect with others, not through dominance or authority, but through sincerity. He remembered small details. He paid attention. He made people feel seen. And that's why, even long after his death, people across the world still remember him fondly, not because of his legend, but because of how he made them feel. One of the most touching aspects of Himmel's character is that he never realized the full extent of his influence. To him, his actions were simple. Helping people was just the right thing to do. But to everyone else, those moments became life-defining memories. That contrast is what makes Himmel's journey so emotional. He wasn't trying to be remembered. He just lived genuinely. And that's what makes his legacy so strong. Himmel's relationship with Frieren is especially important. While Frieren lived centuries and saw time as endless, Himmel understood how fleeting life was. He treasured moments. He celebrated small joys. He wanted to leave behind smiles, not monuments. That difference in perspective shaped Frieren more than any battle ever could. In many ways, Himmel represents the emotional heartbeat of Frieren, beyond Journey's End. Even in death, he continues to guide the story, not as a ghost, but as a memory that quietly shapes every decision Frieren makes. And that's where Himmel's story starts to feel deeply relatable. Most of us have known a Himmel in our own lives. Someone who wasn't perfect, but who made everyday moments brighter. Someone who encouraged us without realizing it. Someone whose influence we only fully understood after time passed. Sometimes it's a friend, sometimes a mentor, sometimes someone we drifted away from before we realized how important they were. Thinking about Himmel often feels like thinking about those people. There's a bittersweet truth in that. We rarely recognize the impact of moments while we're living them. Himmel reminds us that kindness doesn't need an audience, and influence doesn't need intention. Just being present, being sincere, and caring openly can change lives in ways we may never see. Himmel wasn't remembered because he saved the world. He was remembered because he loved it. That's why his journey is so inspiring. In a story filled with magic and immortality, Himmel's humanity is what shines brightest. He proves that legacy isn't about how long you live, it's about how deeply you connect. And maybe that's why Himmel resonates with so many viewers. He reminds us that even ordinary moments matter, that even brief friendships can leave lasting impressions, and that sometimes the greatest heroes aren't the ones who defeat the strongest enemies, but the ones who make the world feel a little warmer while they're here. Himmel's journey may have ended, but his influence didn't, and that's what makes him unforgettable.